Today's manifestation day, and are you ready for what's happening? You're sorting through things you want or you don't want, things you vibe with, you don't vibe with, all in preparation for tomorrow's new moon. And if you don't think moons make a difference, you're 70% water. That moon moves 70% of the Earth's water when it goes over, so it's moving your water too. So let's see what's happening today. Come on in. As you come in, can you do me a favor? Put down exactly what you're feeling today. Today is a manifestation day, very important. I want to see where you're at. If we need to shift your attitude, shift your thought process, today's the day to do it. And also take this down here, this button right here, and hit that button. Send this off to a friend. Send it off to someone who needs to hear it. Send it off to somebody you don't like. Maybe they could actually adjust their sails today. Hey everybody, how you doing? Good morning, or grand rising, good rising. So sad today. Pew pew. Okay, we can get rid of that sadness. Don't worry about it. Oh, first of all, well, what are you sad? Sadness is okay, because you got to ask yourself, sadness and joy are the same chemical in the human body. My perception tells me which one to habituate. So which one is it? Is it sadness or is it joy? Better look, if you got nothing to be sad about, maybe it's not sadness. Maybe your body's saying, it's manifestation day. Things are going well. Okay, feeling moving forward, but pain is stopping me. Okay, pain is not stopping you. It is telling you something important. What is it it's telling you? Talk to your pain. Hello, pain. I see you there. I feel you there. What is it you're trying to show me? By acknowledging pain, it goes away 25 to 50% right away. Tired but overwhelmed. Can you talk about diatomaceous earth? Listen, if you want to talk about diatomaceous earth, go to our supplement guide, download it. There's 31 peer-reviewed benefits, all the reasons why. You don't need me to talk about it. Feeling rested after more than a week of low energies. Cool. Hey, Scott. Feeling it today, right? Okay, we're gonna start with Niek in Vancouver, Canada. You've seen some of us posts contemplating fascia and consciousness. It's gonna be a good talk. Hey, Niek.
Hey, Gary, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
How's the weather up there in Vancouver, Canada?
It's finally
Well,
getting
sorry,
good, so
Vancouver
hopefully we
Island.
can go on the mountains and we can go skiing. But yeah, so it's chillier than it has been. Although the sun's been out the last 3 days, it's been gorgeous.
Good. You're gonna need to get somewhere
Yeah.
stable.
Yes. Oh, is it? Oh, is it choppy? Okay.
Yeah, and also not moving around.
Okay. How does it? Does this work? Does this help?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you got something you can put your phone on too, or a
No,
stand or something like that?
I don't. I had to get out of the house, but I could probably go back in and call you guys back if you want with that
No,
number.
no, 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 no. I mean, that's good.
That
Okay.
works for me.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Yeah, because otherwise there's too much stuff in the background going on.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, so give everybody your name, and your birthday, and you might as well just read off some of your astrology, like what your sun, your moon, your rising is.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Niek. My birthday is August 28th, 1992. And I'm a Sun Virgo, Moon Virgo, and a Sagittarius rising.
Yeah, so you got a lot of you're like me.
Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius Virgo, but I got Aries, Capricorn, and well, actually, I got a lot of other stuff in there. But that's awesome. And so you've had some great posts that have come out. You've been contemplating stuff. So after our talk the other day, because we had a chance to talk about things like fascia in the body, you were contemplating some big issues. Like we got this energetic body, and we've got this physical body, and the rules of the physical body don't really they don't match the rules of the energetic body, and the rules of the energy don't match the physical, and there's this conundrum on how do I make these two work. Does that accurate statement of what you've been going through?
Yeah. Similar. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Like the way what I've been going through the process for sure. Because, like you said, to me, it feels like they don't match up, and there's got to be a way that they do match up. Because I feel like if it's truth is a truth, then they've got to align in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
So it's the process. But yeah, right now it feels like it doesn't fully fit, but we're working on it.
So well, let's talk about that. What do you think that let's talk about where you think the holes are today still?
Like as in, can you clarify that a little bit?
Yeah, like what's not fitting in the explanation. Let's delve into that. I mean, there's all kinds of people here that want to know. I mean, the question is, what is fascia? What is our body? What's our energy? How does it all work? And you're doing a pretty good job describing it in the videos you posted.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing my best. So like the idea that I think the toughest part to understand is for me from a I'm trying to look at things from a biological perspective, but I think there's so much more that it expands out to because biology is inherently energy, right? So that's the foundational level, but then we have it interacting with particles in a particle realm. So it's like kind of coming from the quantum biology perspective, it makes it really quite difficult to grasp. So that's predominantly where the holes come in. And then obviously, if you're looking at from a quantum physics perspective, like the number one rule is as soon as you observe it, it begins to change its behavior. So like if every piece of particle is energetic and you're observing that, as soon as you put your attention to that particle, it starts to shift and change, right? The properties of it inherently start to shift and change. And so like whatever you're bringing into your awareness is going to change. But
So
go ahead.
so we can agree that biology is dynamic and constantly moving, right?
For sure. 100%.
So biology does one thing constantly. It responds to stimulus or energy.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a
Okay.
reaction. Yeah.
So if we look at it that way and we say, well, all of this, what we call physical body is every function in here is responding to some sort of stimulus.
Yeah.
So if I have a stimulus come in and touch me, my body does a series of things internally to process it, to sense it, the chemical sensation, the brain, the narrative, the emotions, all happen as a result of the first touch.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
The first touch can be anything, right? That's the crazy part.
but that's the thing is that we think it's like this, but that's our biology is that it has to touch me. But the
Yeah.
truth is, when somebody walks into a room and they're angry and you feel it, you turn around, it's like, what is it possible? Like, what is the mechanism that makes that possible? Well, that's energy. We know that.
Totally. Yeah. I think you're totally accurate on that, and I think that's you know there, there's this idea that maybe you can clarify on your perception of it, but I feel like that example that you just alluded to, right? You walk into a room, you don't even have to see the person, and you know something's going on,
Yeah.
right? And so there's this interaction between whatever field is there, whether it comes from that person or something else, and the interaction between you. And I think where you just alluded to it earlier in this call, like joy and sadness, same chemicals, but the perception shift. Now, I feel like that same rule can apply to the way those energy fields are both interacting.
Sure.
So whatever consciousness you're holding in those fields, the way that they interact, where they amplify, resist, what you notice, what you don't, those are all that's all how that stimulus is perceived, and that's going to impact how your body operates.
I think we gotta go back to some basics. Let's go back to a baby and the mother.
Okay.
Okay, that's because when we came into this world, that's when we started observing.
Yes.
Okay, and technically, until the 9th month, we don't observe because we don't have a neocortex. We are our mother until the 9th month. In the 9th month, we get a neocortex. So that's the origin of observation. Okay, so a mother knows what the baby needs without any communication at all.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, and that's truth.
And a baby only cries because it's not understood. Because if it's understood, it's getting what it
Yeah.
wants, it's saying what it
Yes.
wants. So you'll find that highly conscious parents who are cleaned up in their bodies and who are processing their emotions and stuff like that, they have children that are very calm. You'll find that colicky children are usually around parents that are tightened, holding emotions, not speaking their truth, stuff like that.
Can I share something? Because I think
Yeah.
that's something super on point with that. In my experience, I know somebody who's very close to me, and she's a mother, and she has one of her daughters is not her biological daughter, and grew up with their biological mom, and she was fairly traumatized, very young age, and she has a son that's her biological son, and so her son very like I was around them quite a bit, and her son very rarely cries. She's very in tune with him, and consistently like catering to his needs. And if he goes to dad or myself, it wasn't always that way. Now the other side of that, her daughter is she because she was so traumatized. She was with her when she was about 3 years old, and basically I have a theory. Um, a way of thinking that basically when a child is born, right, they don't have the space within them to hold all the experiences and feelings and sensations that they're experiencing. And so the parent is around to physically be that safety bubble to get them to feel safe enough to feel whatever they're feeling, and then they can start to integrate that
Okay.
emotion.
Okay. We're gonna have to stop there.
Darn it. Okay.
Okay. So we're not the intelligent ones.
Mm,
The babies are not used to holding all of the information. They flow it. As
yeah.
soon as we start holding it, we start becoming lethargic. We stop functioning. As we hold more and more as we get older, we stop. That's why when we do fascial maneuvers, we're getting younger, moving better, because we're letting go of stuff that we've held. In indigenous cultures, the grandparents would go spend time with the children, young children, but they wouldn't be teaching them. They would be learning from the children because they're still closer to the ether. They don't have the rules, the programmings, the beliefs. You can, you can't. Children invariably, medically, when I was testing, roughly about 3,000 children over a course of 7 years, belonging to adults. The mother, when we would test the mother and we would do subclinical testing and test how hard her organs, like her liver and her kidneys, and whether she's catabolic or anabolic, where her bladder was and stuff like this, all these subclinical tests. What we found is that when we tested the children, their tests looked very similar to the mother's. So we correct the mother's chemistry and we go back with no intervention to the children and test them, and guess what happens?
Mm-hmm.
The children's organs, because we are bioharmonic, and that means that if I'm vibrating like two pianos in a room, if you hit a C on one, the other, they both play. So
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
harmonic. So we vibrate at the frequency of our parents. So we're not protecting our kids. We're the ones giving them all the shit.
Okay, so let me go back to this example here. Two questions, because that's quite possible. Because the daughter then was dealing with she's harmonically vibrating with her disease state mother, so to speak, who
Yes.
is all right. So in that case, if you can't fix the mom, could you then help the child to integrate whatever
Well,
the
absolutely, but if I help the child, by default, I help the mom.
right?
Because quantum physics, it doesn't matter where I am. That's the other thing I say when somebody walks in a room, I don't need you to walk in a room for me to feel you. I can
Right.
feel you over a camera. I can feel you just by thinking about you.
Yes.
That's all
Yes. Okay.
training. It's because what happens is when we're born, we come into this world, we're programmed on how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And we're programmed to not to when we feel something, it's not it's my feel.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's your feeling. So we're not taught this. So we're not, our awareness is not in that spot, but it can be. There's a, for example, let me tell you something on the physical side. There's a company, I can't pull it up, it's in my app, we're reaching out to work with. And what they do is they take people and they put blindfolds on them and they train them to read with a blindfold. So they read a book and then they train them to move and play sports, but they're completely blindfolded.
Yeah.
Because what are the eyes doing? They're interpreting energy. And this is when that guy, that's a lot of people seen this on social media. There's an interviewer, a female interviewer interviewing a baseball player. A guy hits a ball and he goes like this, catches it, and then throws it up. What is the mechanism that allowed that to happen? Like I don't care, Bear. People talk about it all the time, but how does that happen? He wasn't even aware it was coming, and he went like that, caught it, and
Yeah.
saved her. So until we can explain that with science, we don't know shit.
Well, that is the what, and this is the piece I love about movement. Like whether you use that's such a a beautiful example is the body. Like if you get out of the body's way, it self organizes.
Yeah.
So if you I can like the hardest part is actually like being the observer of your reality, because if you can maintain the observation of your reality, you're actually just going along for the ride. You steer it, you're like, I want to go here and there, and if you can stay out of your body's way, it just self-organizes to make it happen. But when you get in the way and you try to control the direction you want to go, that's when it becomes harder. It's like you got two hands on the wheel, right? One, your body can kind of do its thing and this is movement related, right? Your body can self-organize to, get over an obstacle, whatever it happens to be. But the other hand is like steering the way you want to go. You're like, I want to get over that obstacle. That's where I want to go to, that area right there. So by you actually steering, let's say from your soul's perspective, making the request, and then you sitting back, being the observer and watching your body carry it out, like
Yeah.
that's the idea.
So one of the things I get people to do when I'm training them on movement is I get them to fall forward onto a rock, looking at the rock, and they go like it almost takes their shoulders out.
Yes.
Then I get them turn their head away and fall forward, and they naturally have no problem.
Yes, and that's that self-organization.
And then another way to look at it is if I'm walking up a hill, I'm looking right in front of me, and I often trip. But I go down the same hill, and I'm looking 15 feet in front of me. I'm not even looking at my feet, and I don't trip.
Yes, totally. That's so wild. It's funny you bring that one up because I swam. I used to swim breaststroke. I was a pretty poor swimmer, and I could never do front crawl without going 30 meters without getting a mouthful of water consistently and then burping like crazy, swallowing my air. And same kind of premise, like looking far in the distance or moving your vision so that you're looking from the back of your head. Basically, it's this idea of just like training your eyes to go back and taking in that information. And I was swimming in the ocean, and that was the first time I could swim like 30 minutes plus, front crawl, not tired, adjusting with the waves, no aching, nothing. Like shoulders weren't painful, just because I was like basically watching my body do the strokes, do the motion,
Right.
and
You weren't thinking it through.
no.
Because, the only reason why the body thinks in movement is because there's a malfunction. Because once I have my synaptic optimized movement program, like for example, this here is the synaptic optimized movement program that takes 3 to 8 years to get right.
The drink.
Because how far do I grab? How hard do I grab? Pulling it to my mouth simultaneously. And I'm 55 and I still spill water all over myself.
Yeah.
That's just like when I was young, I scooted and I had a jumper and wooden floors. And then I got up and ran one day. I never, ever once crawled.
Yeah.
So what I didn't have was I didn't have that. And that was causing my walk to be dysfunctional all my life. So in other words, I didn't build that synaptic program. So my brain had to calculate every step, which takes a lot of energy. There is nothing more taxing on our brain than movement dysfunction. There is not one thing that we do, because the brain uses for movement is left and right hemisphere at the same time.
Yeah.
The foot goes forward, contralateral motion, which contralateral motion, even if it's slightly distorted, takes away all of our energy. So movement is life, and our body naturally knows how to move once we get adapted to this world.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, the more we move when we're young, the more activities, the more ranges we have, the more ability we have to adapt. So if we're young and we just walk on concrete floors and floors all the time, we walk like this, we like this. But if you put kids, you see these young kids that are like, you know, like 9 months and 18 months on jungle gyms and climbing and stuff that the parents like, they're highly adaptable. We are programmable, and we have programmed us to be dysfunctional in our movement, in our emotions, in our beliefs, and in our thoughts. That's why we're trying to have, that's why we're having this conversation. We're trying to get out of that. By the way, somebody said, I just want to answer this, White Garden. My daughter was very colicky, but my son was not. How is that? Okay, very, very good question. Like, great question, because some people, like if you talk to a Taurus, they just look at you in the face and they don't even make a, they basically don't even say anything. You talk to a Gemini and they're like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." So we respond to stimulus different. And colicky is if I'm having a pain or dysfunction in my body, some people will absorb it. The test I was doing was looking at the actual function of the organs. And and then that is the truth of it. Generally, what I'm saying is that if you have your son who wasn't, your daughter was colicky and your son who was not, your son most likely was holding all of the emotion. The colicky daughter was like getting rid of all of the emotion. That's why we move. Movement gets rid of energy. And if I can't move as a kid, yelling or screaming or crying is getting rid of energy. It's off. It's radiating the energy off.
Got a pretty wild story on that on my personal experience, unless you want to take this conversation in the direction we're still going.
Go.
There was when I was a kid, I'll try to make it the elevator pitch style. I'll try to keep it short. But basically, energetically, my dad is very powerful. So he's a very powerful man, but he's also got like a very powerful energetic field. So like when you step into his space or he steps into yours, you like feel it immediately, especially if he's like if he wants to target you with it. So when I was a kid, like you're alluding to, when you either hold the energy or you're trying to get rid of it, I was a target for whatever he perceived as a problem. And so his way of doing that was the way I felt it. Like this is that internal sense coming from the field. I can actually still feel it. His hands, like his energetic hands, would wrap from my ankles to my pelvis, and from my pelvis up to my jaw. And basically, I knew something was wrong in that situation as a kid. I was about 2, and the first thing I wanted to do was run, and then because I felt like I couldn't run, I wanted to hide, and because I couldn't do that, I would want to scream, and because I couldn't do that, I basically like got this feeling. And so my dad energetically had grabbed me, and we went through this whole process together, had energetically grabbed me and like twisted me and then dropped me. And so the really interesting part about this is it's entirely energetic. And I went through the same process of that running, wanting to run, wanting to hide, wanting to scream, and then like not being able to breathe for about 2 weeks, like where I just couldn't breathe and I was collapsing consistently. And from that spell, when my dad had twisted me and dropped me energetically, I had to pick myself back up again. And for those of you who've seen my video with the moving around, that has been a huge process. So basically, that has been the twist. And I've got X-rays where my neck is kyphotic and it's turned over, and my jaw is switched over a little bit as well. And it's all coming back into alignment as I integrate these sensations and as we integrate the movement. But I think it's just wild how much energy can have an impact on an individual.
Yeah, know, it's like if I'm fearful,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And if I do that over time, it shapes the body. So you're right. Over time, it shapes. Now, when's your dad's birthday?
My dad's a Taurus. He's May 7th, 1964. Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and to a Virgo, you would feel the force of the Taurus energy. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Taurus is a very, very powerful
Yeah. Yeah.
and in moving energy because they are the Taurus. It's actually coming through them. So especially when they're either completely unaware or completely aware, those are the two strongest parts of their energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he is like a unit in that sense. Like energetically, he is very. I don't think he knows it, but he's
So
just like whatever he
one of the
feels.
things that I do with parents who have children, and they don't have to be colicky. Because colicky could be like I've got a body issue going on, like, and you're not listening to me. And that's fair. That's a fair statement. But if I got kids that are super hyperactive, like running around, going crazy, like la, 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 and I get the parents to do an organ reset with me, the kids calm down. Now, all of you parents out there, try this. Do an organ reset. Your kids are going crazy. Calm your emotions. See what happens. And this works 100% of the time. And it's super powerful because kids and animals, like animals, also get the inherent disease of the owner. And another thing that happens too that I've noticed over my career, because I have a lot of doctors and practitioners and nurses, that specialty doctors and specialty nurses, like a rheumatoid arthritis nurse, almost always gets rheumatoid arthritis in the end of her career. There's got, we can't just skip over these big, 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 heaping, observations where and this is part of our current makeup is that and where you're coming into, Niek, is that we have science and about quantum and the body and that, but then we have these big blocks that we just say, well, that's just how the body is.
Mhm.
And what you're looking for is after that statement, that's how the body is. You're looking for all the answers after that.
Yeah.
But listen, 1/3 of the conversation between body practitioners or doctors or body scientists, 1/3 of everything. If I ask a question, why is that? Okay, and they give me an answer. Okay, why is that?
Hmm.
1/3 of every single conversation comes down to that's just how the body is. And I'm like, there is no freaking way. You can't say you are a man of science or a woman of science or a person of science over here and then say over here it's just magic.
Yeah.
It's either magic or it's science, and it can't be both.
Mhm.
Or maybe magic is
Yeah,
science.
that's where I'm at, right? The field of quantum biology is so unbelievably massive to wrap your head around. Like, there's there's a group I can't name them. I'm not allowed to. But there's a group. You know the homeoblock device created by Theodore Belfour.
What is it?
It's called a homeoblock. It's basically a dental device that you stick in your mouth, and it cues your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and it like brings tone back to your airway. But this guy, he made it up in New York. But besides that, there's a group of dentists. They've been all dentists for their whole life and looking at orthodontics, and they just realized how like messed up braces and everything was for long, and they basically stepped out of it, and they're now looking at orthotropics and cueing the body to get into its good position, like tongue getting in good position, and actually,
Wait till they discover that the only reason why a tooth torques is because of the fascia.
what's that?
Wait till they discover the only reason why a tooth turns is because of the
No, that's
fascia. Because people do it.
they're naming. So that's what they're naming now, and they're saying like they're just a group of like 80-year-old dudes because they don't have their licenses anymore and they can't come out publicly, but they all hang out and they all just chit chat back and forth about this idea that it's all energetic. It's like the entire
Yeah.
process is fascial and energetic, and
You know what? I hear that. I respect where they're at. They're living in an old paradigm. the only reason they can't say anything is because you have a license. You're allowed to say anything. And there ain't anybody killing anybody for knocking them off for saying that this. Listen, I have there's a prescriptive came from Japan that is being used in America, approved by the FDA, that regrows teeth.
Oh yeah.
In the University of Alberta, we have a device that regrows teeth. After that, everything in dentistry is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, everything that we do to a tooth is wrong if a tooth can regrow. We do it because the tooth can't regrow and we have to protect
Yeah.
it. And
Right. Okay.
And so, this is what we're doing here. This is why the hard part is really to go back and integrate these thoughts into a current medicine, because, basically what we're saying, our conversations that you and I have is basically we're saying the earth is flat or the earth is round, and for those of you who flat earth or round earth, I don't give a shit, like literally. Whatever it is, it's going to be, I'm here. I don't care anymore. I mean, it's not going to make a difference to me if it's flat or round. It's not going to change the way I look at the canyons and the pyramids and all the mystic stuff. It's not going to change that for me. So I'm not going to argue about it.
Mhm.
But when we talk about the human body, it's flat or round. It's like, does the body heal itself? Number one. Or do we have to heal it? I guess that was the question, right? The, the body itself, the body is designed to heal, but then healing implies, the way that we use healing, it implies that it was sick or broken.
Yeah.
The body is constantly communicating to us, like my car saying, "Hey, I need something," or "Something's going on over here." And if I don't listen, if my car keeps going ding, 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 service engine, ding, 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 and I'm like, forget it. It's not that bad. I can get over the ding. Yeah, it only dings once in a while. It stops dinging after I drive for 30 minutes. Eventually, the engine blows up, and I'm like, what's wrong with my car? How come it didn't work anymore? And this is where we're at. We were not taught how to communicate with our body and what the language is. And this is what we're learning, is we're learning the language. Like you have a phone, right?
Yep.
Do you care what the
Oh,
processor is?
well, I don't think I do.
Yeah. Do you care what type of battery specifically, unless it's some revolutionary type? You,
Uh,
you, your generation uses the phone. My generation, they know the processor, they know the battery, they know how the circuits are welded. But your generation is, I got a phone, I'm just going to use it. I'm good at using
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And that's why our generation can't use it anymore, because they're so caught up on the processor, what's in it, how it's made, that they forget that they have to use it. And this is where we're at right now.
Totally. And I think that's the same thing with the human body. And that's this idea, like you're coming, it depends, because a large population of the world has been in that mindset of the body is broken, or ignoring the dings, or the body is like, this is just the way the body works and that's what it is. And I think there's a lot to feel when you're in that space. Like when you've been operating in that space for so long, and then stuff starts to break down, there's a lot of stuff you have to integrate and feel and go through. But I think once you get to that baseline, it's really, as soon as the ding goes off, you notice the ding, you observe the ding, and then you just let your body kind of take care of it or steer you towards the solution. Like it becomes very easy once you've integrated the majority of it. It's just heavier when you haven't.
Yeah, it's basically the language of the body has been taken away, and we've done with the language of the mind.
Yes.
But one of the things that happened when we were fasting is that the three of us fasted. By the end of the fast, we virtually didn't talk. So, but we were not aware that we weren't talking, because we were working and doing stuff throughout the days, but we were just communicating. So when a fourth person came in, Manvinder, he came in and he was hanging out with us and living with us 3-4 days a week, doing video and starting to cinematography work and stuff like that. He said to us once, he goes, "Listen, I just want to tell you, it's super uncomfortable. You guys haven't barely said a word in the last day and a half, right?"
Mm.
And until he said that, I wasn't even aware that we hadn't talked.
Mhm.
Because the only reason we talk is if you don't understand me. If we're hungry, I'm hungry, we look at each other, it's like, eat. But
Yeah.
if it's like, are we allowed to eat that? Do you want to eat that?
Yeah.
Are you hungry? What are you hungry for? So language is not a sign of intelligence. The mastery of language is a sign of unintelligence. Intelligence is the ability to communicate like a baby did with the
Yeah.
mother. And and this is what we're going back to is training our senses. If we can train ourselves to read without with a block and play sports without being able to see, then we can train ourselves to sense other people and communicate with other people. This is the journey we're on. And people are and in the comments, you can tell me if you feel this in the comments, but have you becoming more intuitive over the last year or two? Just put in the comments if you have, and you're going to see. I mean, people are becoming more intuitive. What does
I
intuitive mean? It means that I don't need a fact to validate the reason why I'm going to believe it or take an action on it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's just the way the world's shifting too. I think that's just coming forward. And to speak to what you're saying about the blindfolds and like people like you guys not talking during your fast, I think people can conceptualize this or experience it as well. Like if you've ever played a team sport and you really jam with a couple players on that team, you don't need to talk to know where you are in space at very rapid rates of play. Like you just know where to go, where to be, what to
Yeah.
do. Same thing can be applied for when you're in the kitchen. Like if you're cooking a meal, you know when you have too many chefs in the kitchen. If you have too many chefs in the kitchen, but those chefs all know each other really well and are just like entwined with each other, don't even have to know each other, just have to be present with each other. You guys can move through that kitchen with no problem, without getting in each other's way, knowing exactly what needs to be done, without having to ask questions. You just do it. It just
Okay,
works.
that's funny because I mean you've been over Lions Bay, but you haven't necessarily been with us when we're cooking.
Mhm.
When we'll have 5, 6, or 7, or 8 of us all contributing, and if you put a camera on it, it's amazing because we're all moving around, we're all doing stuff, we're all creating, and at the end it's a dinner.
Yes. Yeah.
But and it's bizarre to watch from the outside because all the social rules are gone. We're just moving at our free will.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's super wild. Yeah. I love that stuff. Honestly, there's a person who they came into the we just were in tune with each other. Just well, I didn't even know them. They just recently showed up in my life, and within like 3 weeks, we're both working in the kitchen. And she was super chefy, so she had like a bunch of things going on at once. And the thing I love about it is you know you're in tune with somebody. This sounds a little funny, but you know you're in tune with somebody movement wise if you can start throwing stuff and they catch it without looking.
Yeah,
They know it's coming. Like
yeah.
that's when you know you're getting somewhere. And I think that also speaks to the idea that if you stay out of the body's way, it can self-organize, and it does so through that intelligent communication that's going beyond the physical space and going into your energy.
In the high end of sports, they're training athletes like that right now. They're training them to do stuff out of conscious awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is done a lot in martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, my son is a second degree black belt, and I remember watching him go through his second degree. And they basically had a whole round of people that were coming at him from all different angles, and he was responding
Yeah.
with different attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've watched this from the outside, and we know that people can do it, but somehow we've disconnected we say, well, they can do it, but I can't. You know, and when Roger Bannister in Vancouver, British Columbia, broke the 4 minute mile, 85 other people broke it that year, but half of them didn't even know that he broke it because they didn't have the media or communication. They just found out afterwards that they weren't the only ones that broke the 4 minute mile. Somebody else did it first. And this is part of of what's happening in the world is that there is a frequency, and this is where the harmonic thing is. We take mice, put them in a maze here. That same mice in China run the maze faster, and then in India, same maze, they run it faster. It's because there's a part of us that's connected to that infinite intelligence that's out there that has all the Google outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one of the things that I like to give the example. Like if you go to a web page and it doesn't load up right away, It gives you a little clock and it goes tick, 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 thinking. It says thinking. And so if all of the information is technically in our field, our entropic field, then thinking describes how long it takes for us to accept it, process it, and then use it. So
Yeah.
thinking is not a sign of intelligence. Thinking is the length of time of thinking is a demonstration of the delay in my ability to get what's already there.
Which is crazy that you named that, because I remember, like, I'm not going to go into my story, but basically I had a lot of trauma resolution. And when I came out of that, there's a phrase I kind of grabbed onto. So which was like to listen to my heart. So basically, the hard part, or the easy part, was to set an intention, listen to my heart, and then just trust that I was going to get that. The hard part was the trusting.
Yeah.
So if I didn't trust, I'd want to think to make sure I was safe. But the trusting was like, that's what you got you there. And there was a couple things I just tested out on within an hour. And that's all I would put my attention to, is just shovel it within an hour. And then randomly, if I knew whatever I was doing wasn't right, I had, like, literally, it felt like my body was going to pull me, like it was pulling me over. If I ignored it, I missed the time. If I listened to it, like something random, like, I don't know, go get a glass of water. So I would feel like I didn't have enough time to do that. And I would go do that and come back and would work. Same idea was with my phone. Like, I couldn't find my phone one time. I lost my phone, and it was really important for me to get within about 10 minutes. And I just listened to my heart, and I thought it led me all. Oh no, actually, this is an even better one. I lost a small little device. It was on my neck, and it broke off, and I had no idea where it was. And again, it was like a short time frame. I had about 30 minutes to go find it, and I just listened to my heart. I was trying to picture it, and I said, picture it in my hand, like what it would feel like in my hand. And I was it was literally like somebody was holding on my shirt and pulling me around like this. And the amount of times I had to go back and forth two spaces, like I just had to enter a room and then go, nope, and then go to another room. And eventually,
Is that
with
me?
like a barricade, what's that?
Sorry, I was cut off there for a second. You were going in the room and you were feeling it. That's where I cut off.
So I was going into a room, and all I had to do was enter the room, and then I would know if it was there or not. So I'd go into the room, and it'd be like, nope, and then again, it'd pull me away, and I'd just keep moving, constantly moving. You just had to move and trust where I was being pulled to. And then all of a sudden, a flit, I got an image in my head that it was on the side of a road by a white line and like a barricade, and I just, like, again, pulled me. I hopped in my car, I started, and then halfway through driving, I knew where I was going, and I took me up a road. I went up and down the road, kind of like a dog does when it's trying to sniff and find something. It just went like this, and then all of a sudden I saw it, like, on the side of the road. It went from long stretches up, down, and then just pink, and I found it. It was right there. It was on the road, and it was the leather tie that was around my neck had snapped, and it was
So
just
this is, this is so we give a dog a scent
yeah,
and we think it only tracks by scent. That's not true. We know that now. We know that a dog sitting at home or with a camera on knows when the owner gets up to leave work to come home. He senses it.
yeah.
So so what happens is we give them a scent so that they can connect with that person in the ether, and then they keep validating with the scent as they go.
Yeah.
But that is not their only way of perceiving. They're basically, we've been taught that this is the only way it happens. But the example you just gave is how to use quantum mechanics.
But and the idea here is, like, if you think it, it takes too long. It takes too long, you're not going to get it, you'll get stuck in a loop. If you just trust it, it'll take you to where you want to go. But
Yeah.
it's being able to fall into that, and it's that same idea with the dog. Like, you have to, you the information it's just so woo, right? It sounds so silly, but the information is just coming into the field. It's just into the field. If you put your attention to whatever you want to do, that information is always there in the field, and you're orienting towards it. And you just have to
Hey, the
trust that
only reason it sounds woo is you still have a little bit of an old disease process called uh, called
you're,
science constipatus.
yeah, right,
Yes,
totally.
science. It's called science constipatus. I'm constipated by science because the way I live my life, but that was my journey because I like you came from the world of science, and what I had was results that I couldn't explain with any science, and today, even with fascial maneuvers, all the stuff that we're doing, I have a story that I tell about why it happens, but I'm completely open to the fact that that story is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just a better story than the one that was saying it didn't happen. So, because we have this story, and a lot of times in medicine, especially, and science, it's like, it's a miracle. Like I can't tell you how many people I know that have no sperm count, vasectomies or whatever, that have had children. And they go, it's a miracle. And I'm like, I, yeah, I don't see it that way. I mean, yeah, sure, we can call it a miracle, but behind that miracle still had to physically come into some sort of, and this is what where the journey that I've been on. It's to say it's all a miracle, and we're using science as a way to explain the miracle. But science will always fail. Like, for example, I have a belief that we manifest every day.
Mm,
We only work to build our belief in the manifestation. Because
mm,
if
yeah,
you're given three weeks to do a project and you only have 3 days, somehow it gets done.
yeah.
And these examples, people go, yeah, work expands to the time allotted to do it. I mean, we have sayings for it, but we don't have a quantum explanation when it used to take this amount of time and it takes this amount of time. And everybody agrees and they're like, whoa, I can't believe you did that. Magic, miracle. And I'm like, no, there has to be another way of explaining it. And you know what? This is what you're doing. You're out there right now looking for ways to do that and sharing
Mhm,
those. So, quick question for you
mhm.
before we go is, what do you what are you doing over the next 3 months? Like, what is it that you're spending your time? What are you looking at? You're in the Lifestyle Artist program.
Yeah.
You're doing fascial maneuvers. What else do you do? Like, what does your next 3 months look like?
Like there's a good chunk of things I do. Mostly what I'll be actually that's hard to name for my 3 months. There's like I got a bunch of collaborations going on, so that's one piece. But there's also one of the pieces I'm looking at right now is nutrition. I've been doing that for a while, so I have some nutritional coaching that I do. Looking to put out more content around this so that just to help create clarity. Yeah, working on movement consistently. I don't know. Is there something specifically you want
No, no,
to
just
hone?
just out of curiosity. I mean, we're posting you on our wall in our
Yeah.
story right now.
Oh,
You
nice.
were we're starting to share because you're on a journey of exploration and you're doing it at a level that most people don't do. So that's what we want to share because it's really hard for someone to go like I get it. I'm over
Mhm.
here and I used to be over here. The difference how I got here, it wasn't a simple journey, and you're in that process of getting there. So it's easy for people to start getting there by watching your journey because you're going through the same contemplations that I had or we had. And I'm not doing it anymore. So it's really good for people to watch. So I'm suggesting that people follow
Mhm.
you and then ask questions, have discussions because at the end of it, I can tell you this is the way it is, but you still have to have the experience and the realization in your own life.
Yeah, totally. And I think that honestly, that was probably the biggest one. I've had a couple discussions on some of our videos. There's a guy, uh, Vaquiero, I think his name is. He's been honestly super gem, just challenging me on a lot of stuff. And one of the big one of the big pieces is I think he stands within. I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vaquiero, if you're listening, but I think he stands within within the science camp, and that is a place that I did come from. But one of the biggest things about that was understanding that, one, like I was literally in research, like I was the dude micropipetting, DNA and looking for genetic expression and all these kinds of things. And I was sitting there realizing that if I was going to use science to apply whatever I was researching, it was going to take me about 6 years for that to get out into the public and start to be applied. And that was only like this big of a piece in something that was this big that played to something out to that was the size of the world. So like it takes 6 years to get this thing going. Like that's going to be way too long for me to actually start to apply that theory. So I actually stepped out of that for that reason, and it's taken me a long time to build trust in intuition and understand that science is only one way of knowing. And I think that it's coming into the education realm.
Science is a language. Science is a language to explain what we observe.
Yeah.
But the truth of science is that from a scientific point, science always changes. And because our observation changes, because we're in an observation reality, quantum physics.
Yeah.
So if our observation changes the experiment or the result, then science has to continue to explain why it's changing. And this is where we say the science is fixed. Well, we don't know. And there is no conclusive science. And if somebody says the science is conclusive, that's where you start to run away, because now it's not science, it's religion. And like I say about the proteins, there's millions of proteins that run the body. We only know what 5,000 of them do conclusively. How is it that we could even say that we begin to understand the body? We don't. We do not know.
Yes.
It is a lie that we do
Yes.
know. And just like religion, we don't know what God is. We don't know what creator is. I mean, people have been there. I've crossed over a couple of times. I mean, I know it's something I can't even perceive here. That's the point. I'm smart enough to say I have a way of explaining it, and that way could be completely wrong. But for right now, let's use this. And the last thing I want to say about that is we had the same dilemma that you did.
Mhm.
So what we did is we put out the practice
Mhm.
and we asked people to share their observations.
Mhm.
That is science.
Mhm.
We have the biggest social peer-reviewed study on the planet Earth right now because we have the results already. All we have to do is sort the results. We have people sharing daily what they're going through and rashes on their body and detoxing and highs and lows and emotions and stuff like that. At some point, all of the results that people have, the millions and millions of results that people have shared about what's happening with them as they've done fascial maneuvers, we'll be able to put artificial intelligence on it and come to a new scientific understanding. But since we put the results out, we don't have to explain to science that it works because we know it works. Science has to explain why it works if they want to. That's really the
Yes. Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. That's the cool part. Like if it works, it works, right?
Yeah. So when I used to say this all the time in the clinic is when do we accept a result as observable science? Like why is it that we say this can't be over here, but we have the result over here? When do we use when does the result trump the research? At what point? And the current model is, well, it depends on how many peer reviews you got, how many likes, which is a like test. It's a like contest.
Yeah. It's
And the last thing about science was interesting. I was watching this documentary, and he's a geological scientist, and he's in his late 50s, and he has all these 20 somethings coming out of college, and they're asking questions, and he says, well, and he gives them an answer. He goes, well, there's no peer. They're saying, well, there's no peer review on it. And he said, well, let's go test it ourselves. No, why am I going to waste my time when there's no papers that say it? And I'm like, that's not science. That's what we're doing is not science anymore. I mean, and this to all you scientists out there that are doing the right thing. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about to the general institution that's stopping us from exploring and learning.
I recognize that when I went into science, like when I was researching, there was a lot, especially if you're under government or university housing, like not housing, but like
Yeah.
under those institutions, there is so much political
Under my thumb.
that gets like, this experiment can happen and this one can't, and this one can happen under these pretenses and this one can't. It only goes to this paper if you do this. It's just like, what? Like it's gnarly. So if you're industry, you have a little bit more flex, but
Yeah, but
it's pretty
industry is then by the science is regulated by capitalism, which
exactly
I've been a capitalist my whole life, but but I also was a meat eater my whole life either, and I'm neither of those anymore. So
right.
thank you, Niek. Really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your videos. I look forward to watching your journey and continuing to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you for hosting me, Garry.
Take care.
Yeah.
We people always ask how you get my time. Here's how you get my time: do the 28-day reset, do the lifestyle artist level 1, get into lifestyle artist level 2, and by then we can have a conversation. Because if you still want to argue with me about stuff that you haven't experienced, then I don't have a conversation with you. At the end of it, if you haven't experienced it in your body, don't talk to me about it. You don't talk to me about what you learned. Don't talk to me about what you read on a research paper. If you haven't run the experiment in your own body and then reproduce that experiment with others, then it's not even worth having the conversation. What to do with lymph nodes that are detoxing? Lymphatic system is a detox mechanism for the fascial system. The lymphatic system highly dysregulates when the fascial system is dehydrated and constricted. Fascia is in layers like baklava. There's layers of that pastry, and in there, there's fluids, there's oils, there's honey in that baklava. Well, there is fascial fluids, collagens, proteins, all that with the lymphatic system in there meant to detox. If your body's stressed, it compresses. If it's dehydrated, it compresses. Your lymphatic system then has a problem. If it compresses and torques, then that lymph node is going to get swollen. That swollen lymph node is what we start cutting out of our body. How about we just get the body hydrated, get the minerals in there? How about we just get the fascia moving and let the lymph do what it was supposed to do?
And the power kirk helps it release as well, right?
Power Kirk 30, what it does is it targets the heat with a heat shock protein called MSK1. It targets the inside of the fascial or the cell, sorry, of the connective tissue and releases the inflammation from the inside of the cell. So the outside of the cell automatically relaxes, and it does all connective tissue in your body, which is every nerve, tendon, bone, organ, gland, everything is in that connective tissue. So when you let it all go, guess what? It all has less resistance. The less resistance means more energy for you to heal your body. Power Curve 30. Try it out. I think I tried you before. Julie Torbett. I'm not sure if it worked. It's not letting me do it. That's weird. Hold on a second. There we go.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. How are you?
Did I talk to you before, or you've just been requesting a long time?
I just have been requesting for a long time.
Okay, because I recognize the name. I think I tried to bring you up once and it wouldn't let me.
Yes.
Julie, where are you?
I am in Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. Where in Indiana?
Avon, Indiana. It's outside of Speedway.
Oh, Avon. So outside of Speedway, Avon. Now, is there an Avon factory there? Just kidding. So and when's your birthday?
May 21st, 1968.
Oh, do you know if you are 29-degree Taurus or a 0-degree Gemini?
Looked that up because I am not familiar with astrology.
You could be a 128 or 1-degree too, but
So when you ask me that, are you asking about my sun sign or
yeah,
my
your sun sign. Yeah.
0 Gemini, 5450? I don't know what
Oh
that
yeah,
means.
so you're a brainiac with a lot of Taurus in you.
Okay.
So you're a brainiac that can be stubborn sometimes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold up your hands. Do you have long fingers or short fingers?
I
Relatively
think I have long.
long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're Gemini.
I'm a Gemini. What
Yeah.
can I say?
So you need to DM me a copy of your chart afterwards. I have an experiment if you want to be a part of it. I have an astrology social communication experiment with 29 degrees and 0 degrees in their sun sign only. And I have them in a group of people and we're watching how they interact. And basically we're noticing that all of the 29 degrees, when they have an issue, they all have it at the same time. Same thing with all the 0 degrees.
Hmm.
And when you get them that are close to you, like you're a Grandmaster Gemini, I'm a Grandmaster Sagittarius. So basically, we're like polar opposites of the same
Hmm.
stick.
Okay. Interesting. Great. Well, I wanted to ask you about, I do a lot of I'm doing the fascial maneuvers, and I get a lot of like middle of the night that I was
Sorry, a lot of what?
muscle pain that I
What,
don't.
what does the muscle pain feel like? Is it dull, achy? Is it sharp? Is it okay?
Yeah,
And where do you get it specifically?
my thighs and kind of on the inside of my
So
thigh.
like in here?
No, like in the crotch area, I
Yeah.
guess would be the best place.
Okay, so that's uh okay, so that's two things. It's where your liver and your spleen go through. So anger and worry, those are the emotions that have been holding on in your body for a while.
Trying to release them. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Okay.
so do you have a partner that you can work with?
Yeah, I'm sure my husband would do whatever I asked him to do.
Okay, so there's a series of partnered releases you can do. We have okay, so there's a I don't know if it's on YouTube yet, but you'll see it. There's a partnered pretzel squat release where you do a pretzel squat like this,
Okay.
and then the partner comes here and turns the leg, and you can do it
Okay.
yourself too. Put your
Okay.
hands on. You can put a towel around it, turn it out, and then squat, and that'll start to break up the fascia in the pubic bone area. But they're partnered maneuvers in general. If you get your husband to do it, it'll start to loosen it up because usually when you've had that issue for a long time, the fascia along the pubic bone itself starts to really adhere, and it takes a while to break it up. It will go away no matter what. It'll go away for
Okay.
sure.
Well, that's good to know.
And does it happen? Other thing too is it happen like predominantly between 1 and 3 a.m.
I feel it like I guess when I'm rolling over, I'm like, oh, that hurts. Like, but I don't actually look at the clock, but I know it's sometime in the middle of the
So
night.
probably between 1 and 3 because that is the time for your liver to be active. So it's all the way down here. Now, the other thing you can do is the lower reset and the barefoot sprinter routine number
Okay.
2. Okay, now,
Okay.
and this will be posted later again so you can watch it. And the other ones you want to do all the time, psoas release.
Okay.
Um, you want to do pull over
Okay.
and swinger because that's all going to open up this whole area here.
Okay.
And then the other thing too is really really powerful. In a bath or sitting down, baths are really really good. This is pinning the skin here and pinning it here in between. I even do it standing up where literally I'm pulling right on that. Like I got my hand up around my anus, right? And I'm grabbing the skin right where you feel that tightness and pull it and squat. And what that does is it stretches around the pubic bone. And when you do that, you're going to have a lot of tension release right here because that's
Mm,
also a tight spot for you.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And then the other one that works really good for that is,
Oh, Vegas.
yeah, and instead of just the vagus right out here, you can go vagus nerve is right out here, but you can go all the way in here and then this one there. Those are just the ones that will get up because it's like shimmying something out of a hole.
Mhm.
You got to move it a little bit here, move it a little bit here, move it here again, move it here again.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I had not thought of that. Okay, that's great. And I have a scar on my thyroid. I had it partially removed when I was 9. In
You
And
had
I
your
was just
thyroid removed in your nine?
part of it.
Okay,
I
so
don't know, weird, right?
mm,
But
somebody wasn't speaking their truth.
I guess it was me.
At 9 years old, I'd say highly likely it was to do with your mother,
Okay,
maybe
maybe
not speaking her truth. What was your mom's birthday?
October 26, 1942.
Yeah. So yeah, Scorpio, like holding back, not saying anything, and a deep Scorpio too. So that sounds about right. You know, I was telling earlier about children having the diseases of the mothers because it's highly likely that at 9 years old you can do enough in your body in 9 years to disrupt the thyroid, where a gland or an organ can go literally 15, 20 years in dysfunction before you have to do something about it.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's hard working that. Like I know you do the thyroid stretch, like when you do the reset, but should I like to work that scar?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you'll get it because that's also causing restriction back here.
yeah, I have that for sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the partner maneuvers are really going to help because it's all when it gets caught up here, it affects this area through here and through here. So all through here and all through here. So when you do a partner maneuver and they're pulling here and you're stretching and going like this, you're going to feel a lot open up in there.
Right.
And like at all of these things, in my experience, almost every scar I had is gone. Almost every compression that I had, like you look at the old videos of me, my neck was like this all the time. You know, now it's like now I got room in my neck. That's how I've gotten taller and longer. So eventually it all goes away that I found and people that have been doing it for years. So you keep going, but what you can do is accelerate it. Partner maneuvers really accelerate it.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think that's what I wanted to ask.
You gotta send me your well if you want
Yeah,
to. I mean, there's a group of cool kids, and basically I'm inviting you. And as a Gemini, you're like I'm
I'm
in
in.
usually.
I'm a joiner.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so take a screenshot of your astro chart, send it into Instagram. Just say I was on the live with Gary. He requested my chart, and then we'll give you access to the group.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. Appreciate it.
Well, looking forward to getting to know
Okay.
you.
Right, fantastic. Thanks.
You're
Bye
from Indiana.
bye.
Indiana. Look at that. Another Gemini. Ruby Jane. Getting lots of Geminis. Hey, Anna Kowalik. Anna. What's going on with the sound? Sometimes your voice gets super. Sometimes my voice gets super low. Turn the lights on. Uh, yeah, maybe. No, there's some weird stuff at Instagram and their voice stuff. Sometimes I get deep and satanic in my voice. People are like, "Your voice just went deep and satanic. Oh my God, I gotta run away." That happened a number of times. Do you think the energetic connection has to do with empathy? Do you think people who have no empathy, like psychopaths, are cut off from energy? Psychopath is a weird one, right? I mean, basically, what we do is label people who are different. Different. Um, like if you go look at there's a couple of videos that name like the top signs that are serial killers, the top psychopathics in the world, and what their signs were. I think you'd be really surprised, right? Um, it's a long conversation. So I don't think we have to. I don't think we have the bandwidth for this here right now. But there is a conversation around that. Um, I think that when people become highly dysfunctional, they become a little psychotic. And what I mean by that is I've seen a lot of people that are like acting out in this world in what looks like a psychopathic way, and then when their body comes back into alignment, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, where was I?" A lot of times that you can get this with like bipolar disorder, and it's a disconnection is what it is. And I have found that when we mineralize the body, we take it out of stress over a long period of time, the brain and the body rewire itself. I mean, in my case, I look back at what I was like when in 2010, when I came out of prison, and I had, multiple concussions, 8 at that point, some near-death experiences, and I replay conversations in my head that I had with people that sounded psychotic, and I mean, really psychotic. And at the time, I remember feeling that it was rational, and I just know that just generally, we are not rational beings. We're very emotional beings, and we rationalize why we have emotions. Troubles eating, time to get over it. Yeah. Um, Still having issues with eating. You think it just needs time to get over it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're having issues eating, it's your body's communicating to you. So the thing is trusting your body, whatever your body's saying to you. Like, you, uh, I was talking to a close friend. I'm not going to put the name because I don't want the energy out there. And dealing with a stage 4 cancer diagnosis in the lungs, and she was saying to me, and this is to do with eating of food too, right? And I'll kind of coax it back into to what she was saying to me is a couple of things. She has been doing everything natural, but once now is being pushed to the point where feels like she has to do immunotherapy, stuff like that. And I said, look, I've been around this so long. Whatever you do, believe it 100%. If somebody doesn't believe like you in this time, then move away from them. You can talk to them in another space and time. Whatever it is, believe in what you do. And so if you are not eating because your body doesn't want to eat, then believe it and just let it be that way. It's the back and forth, like I should be, what happens if I don't, all this stuff. Your body's gonna like if you need to eat food, your body will tell you you need to eat food. So just give it time. You're doing all the things. You're doing fascia maneuvers. You're taking care of your thoughts, feelings, emotions. You're working on it. So now, if you weren't working on it and you had that issue, there's a different discussion. Do I know what to do for Achilles pain? Absolutely. Okay. If you got Achilles pain, there's a couple of things that go along with it all the time. One is chronic dehydration of the fascial tissue that wraps the Achilles. It's super important. Achilles pain also comes with one hip higher than the other every single time I've ever worked with it. So I recommend this. I recommend that you do the lower reset off of our website. You do the barefoot sprinter routine number 2. You do it 1 to 2 times per day. You get your body hydrated through mineralization with diatomaceous earth, Irish sea moss. If you can get the Power Kirk 30, get that. It works really good. You've got to do this at least once per day, the movement. And as you do that, the Achilles pain or the fascia that's constricting the Achilles and the hip will start to level off. When your hip levels off, that one Achilles that's tight will let go, and the other one is the one that's painful will start to relax, just like that. Heard you need to update IGAP. Oh, you might need to. That's a good one. Thank you, Christy. You might not need to update your IG app if you have deep voices. So your Instagram is one. And if my voice goes deep and satanic, it's like you need to upgrade your app. I may have dermatomitis. What should I do? Hey, Joyce and Tron. Diatomaceous earth, Irish sea work, fascial maneuvers, clean out your gut, 28-day reset. You can go back to your doctor and say, first of all, I may have, come, take care of your body that way. Go back and show me your results. Could you remote view my birth time? You can, you guys, I don't want me to be the guy. I don't want to be the guy. I don't mind helping people out, but I can't be the guy for everybody. So there's a simple way is sway testing, and then you get a pendulum to test. Get a pendulum and learn how to pendulum. It's really powerful. And then you get somebody else to verify it. And if you get the same one, great. If you don't, get a third person and then pick the one that the 2 out of 3. That's how we get good at it. Belly button experiences at birth, the bonding lack of. And that's a really good conversation. Yeah. I'm curious as to why you're asking. So I'm going to talk to you. Somebody thought I was biting my. I keep pushing this. It's hi, Anne.
Hi, I'm at nighttime.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Hamburg, Germany.
Oh, hey, that's where they invented the hamburger.
Maybe.
No, actually, that's true. I had a bet over it,
Okay.
and I lost.
Okay. Yes.
So,
So
so explain to me, first of all, when's your birthday, Anne?
9th of June, 66.
Oh, another Gemini. Oh, we got Gemini Day today. So,
Yes.
and your ninth, that would make you 17 degree or 16 degree. Do you know?
Yes, an 18, I believe, and
Oh,
a moon. Yeah,
and where's your moon?
Aquarius 29.
Oh, that's why we're talking today. What's your rising?
Libra.
What was it?
Libra, as far as I understand the Sirius app little picture.
Do you know the degree of Libra?
It's a low number, something like 3. So it's much lower than the
Sagittarius
other 2.
Libra. The reason
Okay.
you're talking to me today is no accident, because you're a 29 in your moon. I'm at 29. You're a Gemini. You're a Aries Gemini. I'm an Aries Sag, which is the polar opposite. And I have a
Okay.
Grandmaster Libra, 2 Grandmaster Libras in my chart.
Ooh.
So basically, what's coming up for you is in this new moon, you're getting a big change in your life.
Okay.
Do you feel it?
Yes, I'm in your 28-day reset that started on 15th of January.
Perfect.
And you are in my life since the 18th of December last year. And I
18th
feel,
of December?
yes, that's when I started to do your resets.
Yeah. So
And yes.
go ahead.
And I am in an absolute yin space. Everything wants to go inward. And I'm not quite sure what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted you to speak to the belly button is that I am an adopted child from the era of the 60s in Sweden. And I believe coming out and having the belly button cut was not the most awareness-oriented experience.
I
And
can
my whole
feel
life,
that very, very heavily. So
yes,
here's
it has not
I
been
had this.
pleasant to touch my belly ever.
Okay. So the belly button is a connection to the mother, obviously.
Mhm.
And there's a great feeling of abandonment being adopted.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So you're a 29-year moon. You're 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 a Gemini, so you're going to think about it, but you're also Libra. You're trying to bring balance back to your emotions. And the emotions are our emotional connection is with our mother. So this is why I believe this is happening for you right now. Because the new moon is coming up, there's been some changes in you recently, like you said, since December 18th. December 18th was 2,
yes.
3, was 26 degrees, was a karmic teacher and being a student, that was a karmic day to teach you about what you believe and about being a student and being a teacher. So you're in line you're moving to being a teacher of emotions. So
Okay.
with that, the best teachers have had the greatest pains or dysfunctions because teaching from here, your Gemini, doesn't work. This is supposed to communicate. Teaching from here is what it's about. So I feel it heavily in you. So think about it this way. There is, I kept wondering about how this all works with the belly button, and for me the question was, okay, because I could tell from the actual working of the body that there was trauma around here. The very first fascial maneuver we ever had was a belly button trauma release, but I didn't know it was a trauma release. I just put my hand in there instinctively and turned, and I held it on somebody for 3 minutes, and all of a sudden a traumatic experience, and their hips loosened up, and I'm like, whoa, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to try this out. So that was my first experience. Now, this journey 10 years later, finding out, and I kept thinking to myself, why do we cut the belly button? Why do we cut the umbilical cord? Because 20% of the cord blood and the blood stays in the placenta. That's why we freeze it. So if we have a problem later on in life, we can take it out and we can infuse our body with it. Why wouldn't we just take it on right from day one? Why wouldn't we put those antibodies in us from day one? And then I thought, okay, so logically, for your Gemini brain, who's the first person that had a baby come out with this appendage on it? Who decided that it was a good idea to cut it? I mean, having children, I don't think I would have made that decision. And then, furthermore, back in time, how did they cut it? They didn't have scissors. Did they bang it with a rock? Did they chew it like an animal? And why would they do it? Now, all these contemplations came up, and my only thing was maybe there's another way. And then I found, it's funny, I said, well, we're not supposed to cut the umbilical cord. That was my science mind saying, saying intuition. Now I looked at a form of birth called lotus birthing. Guess what they don't do is they don't cut the umbilical cord. They let it fall off 3 days. So abandonment or being detached from my creator because my inside world reflects my outside world starts with the cutting of the umbilical cord. Because it's a sudden, sharp abuse to the human body. It's still a part of my body. It's still a part of my body when it's cut. It's not a natural way to let it go. So that, and this is my opinion, okay? These are my opinions, my findings. People can choose to believe whatever they want. But if you get a sliver in your finger, it goes away in 3 days. That the lotus birthing was what proved to me that there's people all around the world that just let it come off naturally. So that's the way it was intended. There's a function for it. I can't believe in nature, there's nothing that makes man have to do it. Like the body was designed, everything was designed to work without the assistance of anybody. So why would that one function be necessary? You see what I'm saying? So the sudden
Yes, yes,
sudden disconnection causes a feeling of abandonment,
yes.
separation.
That's the cellular programming I have been healing, been with for many rounds, and now it feels like this is the round when I will connect to it
You're
and
going to
resolve it.
connect to it right away. Can you put your phone somewhere? You want to do something with me?
Yes, I would love to. Let's see if I can get some lights going and still see you, and you still see me.
Turn the lights
It's
down
night,
low.
That's my yin space, keeping it dark. But yes, here we are.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay, just put your right hand on your belly button over top. Left hand on your heart. Breathe in through your mouth to your right hand. 2, 3. Breathe into your heart with your left hand. 2, 3. Thank you, body, for holding this trauma.
Thank you, body, for holding this trauma.
To help me understand the feelings and emotions of abandonment.
It helped me understand the feelings and emotions of abandonment.
I'm ready to fully understand.
I'm ready to fully understand.
I'm letting go of my past stories
I'm letting go of my past stories
so I can rewrite my future.
so I can rewrite my future.
Show me what you want me to see.
Show me what you want me to see.
Breathe in through your mouth again. 2, 3. Through your nose. 2, 3. Thank you, Mother,
Thank you, Mother,
for playing a very important role in my life
for playing a very important role in my life
and letting me be alone
and letting me be alone
so that I could learn this lesson.
so that I can learn this lesson.
I came here to understand this.
I came here to understand this
So I could help others.
so I can help others.
I'm letting go of any trauma that I've held as a result.
I'm letting go of any trauma that I have held as a result.
I'm letting go of any trauma held between us.
I'm letting go of any trauma held between us,
Consciously, subconsciously, or superconsciously.
consciously, subconsciously, or superconsciously,
In all states of time,
in all states of time.
okay, right hand on your heart, left hand on your head. Breathe in through your mouth. 2, 3. Thank you, heart.
Thank you, heart.
I'm ready to follow.
I'm ready to fall.
Lead the way.
Lead the way.
Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3. I no longer have to figure everything out with my brain.
I no longer have to figure out everything with my brain.
I'm ready to observe.
I'm ready to observe.
Breathe in through your mouth again. 2, 3. Through your nose. 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Lighter, more spacious, many waves in here.
Yeah. I could feel your heart going.
Yeah.
Yeah, my heart was jumping too.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Oh, your
This,
face is changing too.
mm,
Yeah. You you have a special purpose here, and the reason we go through early childhood trauma is to give us all of the inputs we need to find the mastery that we are.
okay.
That 29 degree in your moon is your highest state of awareness. So that your highest state of awareness is your emotions, your emotional connection to the world. Consequently, you're born as a Gemini to make you process it up here.
Okay. So I will
Okay?
spend time dropping in,
Yeah,
and
and this moon coming up, Saturday and Sunday is going to be revelation time for you. Like something's going to pop and switch that's going to be something that you couldn't even have imagined.
okay, I will be observing and follow my heart. I will be
Yeah.
dancing, so that's good.
Okay, well, you're going to let me know what happens, okay?
Yes, thank you so much for this moment in time. Thank you all.
See you when we
Bye.
come to Germany. And
Yes, yes, of course.
whew, gee, I'm all tingly inside now. My arms are tingling. Thank you, Anne. You're helping me upgrade my emotions. Everybody that I talk to is a reflection to me. I don't heal anybody. You're all here for me. As a result, it helps you because you're here for you too. Wow. Oof. Susie Trumbull. Yes, diatomaceous earth and sea moss fixed low island iron, yes, but you've got to get your GI tract cleaned out. So lower reset, barefoot spiritual routine number 2 every day.
Oops.
Hello, 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 Susie.
Hi. How are you?
Good, Susie. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Smyrna, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, that's cool. I once had an office up in Buckhead.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was the
Buckhead's
only mall
changed.
I'd ever been to that had in the parking lot more um, more VIP parking than it had regular parking. It was a weird experience.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Valet VIP was like 2/3 of the parking lot or something crazy like that.
Sounds like Lenox Mall.
So, when's your birthday?
February 26th.
Oh, so Pisces.
Yes.
4 degree, 3 degree,
Um,
you know?
let me. Uh, a 7-degree Pisces.
Oh, you're a Grandmaster Pisces.
I
Okay,
have
you're
no idea what that means.
okay, yeah, okay. So tell me what your moon is.
It's an Aquarius, a 23-degree Aquarius.
22 degrees.
No,
Whoa, you're
23
interdimensional. Okay, good.
degree,
3 degree what?
3-degree Aquarius. A 23-degree
Oh,
Aquarius.
okay. Oh, so basically you're always thinking about fairness and balance. Okay. Um, what is your Saturn?
It says 10-degree Aries.
Okay. That's cool. Taurus Aries. And what is your Chiron towards the bottom?
27-degree Pisces.
Oh, so basically you're afraid of yourself.
I'm afraid of trusting myself.
Yeah, yeah, leadership and you. Yeah. And what is your ascendant or your rising?
A 10-degree Libra.
Okay. You're here to manifest balance in between you and you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it might make the Aries in your Chiron might make you a little feisty once in a while. Like, I'm going to go over here. Now I'm going to go over there.
Yeah,
And might make you want to shelter in place a little bit, like be private.
absolutely.
Yeah. But um, they would say that at another state of awareness, you were like a war general and fighting a spiritual cause. Like they would probably say in astrology, like fighting either for or against the church.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah. That's what they would say, astrologers. I don't buy into stories because as far as from a consciousness point of view, I've been a rock, I've been a tree, I've been a dog, I've been a leaf, I've been a drop of rain, been a cloud. We've been everything. That's what consciousness is. We're just one expression of it. So um, so you've been scared of yourself. You've been trying to put
Scared of
restrictions
trusting
on yourself.
myself.
Is that what? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Scared of yourself because if I let the genie out of the bottle, then what will happen?
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
that
Well,
also ties into feeling like I can't speak my truth or afraid to kind of put it out there for fear of judgment kind of thing?
yeah,
Is that,
yeah.
that
Because
real?
yeah, because Pisces can be very judgmental too, right? Because Pisces is spirit. Everything on this earth is not spirit. So, um, it's the other side of spirit. So Pisces can be very judgmental, and they can be hot and cold, black or white. We just came out of the age of Pisces. It's black or white. If we can't decide, we get a judge to tell us which one it is, and we all agree upon that. And we're moving into the age of Aquarius. So you were born with the astrology to help resolve this issue inside of yourself, so you could help people find balance, manifest balance in the age of Aquarius. So basically, what is your midheaven? It's right below your ascendant or your AC. It's MC.
Uh, it says 12-degree Cancer.
Yes, yes. You are becoming a teacher of community, of family. That's what you're becoming. You're becoming a caregiver.
Did you say am I a caregiver?
You're becoming one.
Well, I am a caregiver. So, okay.
Yeah, but in a bigger sense. In a bigger sense, because you're a grandmaster, so you're becoming a caregiver in a worldly sense. And the first thing is to caregive for yourself. So that's where you're short.
That's my lesson. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Feels right, right?
Yeah, that feels right. It feels right. I wanted to know, I had ever since the trust in myself is a big issue. But ever since the pandemic, when the stuff hit the fan, I have a son with special needs and things got really, really bad with his behavior and just that aggression. And I just uh, I just sort of burn out and lost my sense of self and um, kind of lost the will to do anything. And I'm trying to lift myself out of this procrastination and feeling of kind of doom and gloom, and I've started the 28-day reset and I feel really energized to do it. And I feel like I'm kind of swimming out of the fog and finding myself again. And I struggle with that dichotomy of getting getting rid of that old feeling and
It's
flying
already
with the
gone.
new feeling.
You're operating on the memory of the old feeling and the habits and then the social reinforcements of it around you. You've already changed. You just waiting for your life and your body and your relationships to catch up to that.
Oh, that's really good news. Okay.
No, I
And
mean legitimately, like you went through the change. The
I'm
last
working hard at it.
since 2019, since your birthday in 2019, it's just been a shit show, and that was your purgatory. That was your time of reflection. That was your shake-up time.
Oh, you froze. So you think I'll be able
Yeah,
to start trusting myself now and move into this
yeah. So
other
start
thing?
with little things. You know, I'm going to do this. I do it, and then reward yourself. Hey, you gotta do it too, Susie. Good job, Susie. Just say that. Say good job,
Yeah, I'm
Susie.
working on that. I'm working on that.
Say it. Say good job,
Good,
Susie.
good job, Susie.
Does it feel good?
It does feel good. It does
So
feel
reward
good.
yourself
Yeah, I've done a
every
lot
time
of
you do
that.
something that you believe in. Say good job, Susie. Good job, Susie. And you just
Okay.
literally outwardly reward yourself for that. Because what happens is it reinforces a mechanism. We're highly programmable. That's why they feed us media, sounds, and smells, and all this crap that they're doing. You're highly programmable. So take charge of your programming.
I like
Good job, Susie. Every
that.
time you do something, yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your birthday coming up, you're gonna have a big transition this weekend too. But I mean, everybody is to some degrees. Yours is gonna be pretty fundamental. Like you're gonna have a perception shift in what you thought was right, or like who you thought you were and what you thought was right. That's coming up this
Okay.
weekend. But by your birthday, you're just paddling through mud until your birthday. But as soon as your birthday comes, it's gonna be whoa. It's gonna be like skating on ice.
I love it. All right. All right.
You've
I'm
already done
ready.
the hard work. You've already done the hard work, so you just gotta stop beating yourself up for what happened.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got this. Get, get into the
All right.
lifestyle artist program. You'll find lots of others. You're Grandmaster Pisces. You're meant to rise. You're in the time of rising. You're you're fermenting right now, and you're starting to bubble up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. Take
Okay, Susie.
care. Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.
Turn the lights down low. Okay. Dr. Kai, the Aries guy. Hey, Kai.
Hey Gary, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I've never felt so sick in my life right now.
Perfect. You're right on track.
Yeah, I know.
Where do
I
you, where
met
do
with
you feel? How do you feel? What's detoxing in your life?
everything really. Um,
Hmm.
Starting with birth trauma, and I met with a friend last night for the first time in person after getting to know him quite well the last few weeks, and he's an astrology like savant completely, and he's always looking at my chart, and he reached out to me yesterday saying that the next 12 hours were going to be super pivotal for me and to like cancel my plans so we could meet up in person for the first time. And he told me about so Vesta has been for the first time in person retrograde for about 4 months, going direct 2 minutes ago, actually. Um, and Vesta was in retrograde at my time of birth when I almost died.
Hmm.
Umbilical cord strangulation, which I now recognize was a manifestation of my physical body feeling scared and not being ready to come into this lifetime, but my soul knowing that it's something that I needed to do. And
Hmm.
yeah, so starting at probably 2 this morning, I developed some GI upset, and it just got worse and worse. I spent hours on the toilet with extreme diarrhea and started throwing up well, having diarrhea and just zero energy, like my body cells are just kind of going back and forth between sitting up because laying down gives me horrible GI pain, but I barely have enough energy to sit up. I lay down because I can barely sit up, and then the aches are so bad laying down.
So what you're describing, Kai, you're going through an energetic shift, and what happens is anything that's lower frequency has to come up. I spent from 2019 to 2023 for virtually once a month in that kind of condition, and then like one time for like 5 days straight, vomiting 24 hours a day. I don't even know where, not eating, not drinking, evacuating constantly, shaking, stuff like that. So this is a good thing. I know it doesn't feel like it when you're in it. You got to go through it, but your body is getting rid of whatever was occupying you. Whatever occupied you also changed the way you think, because
Yeah,
you're getting rid of bacteria and viruses that don't belong anymore.
yeah. And I did I broke a 21-day fast, water fast, like a week ago. So there was a lot that I was cleansing then. I also
There
sat
you
with
go.
combo. I sat
There you go.
with combo multiple times towards the end of that 21-day fast, and that was super purifying. And yeah, I was
Everything's
planning.
happening the way it's supposed to. Yeah, like especially after a fast and breaking a fast, yeah, your body's just clearing off everything. This is good. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, when I'm going through these things myself, I have to keep telling myself this is good, but I don't also have anybody around me telling me it's bad, because that's part of me isolating, because I was going through like massive detox for years, and I didn't have the patience for anybody to say you should go to a hospital, you should go to a doctor, you should go to this. So you're right on track. It's exactly what's supposed to happen, and it's the new moon tonight, and it's the weekend shift, and I know your astrology, so you pretty much couldn't have planned it any better.
yeah. And I've been receiving the message to surrender like nonstop from people who know me and just random words of surrender appearing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I
time
just
to surrender,
ordered.
my friend.
Yeah, I feel the truth of that. I'm ready
Yeah,
now. I've been resisting for a long time. Um,
Aries. Aries are always resistant. I'm I got so much Aries in me. I know. I mean, I was born resistant. I mean, I got a label in my head that says I will resist. I used to anyways. Stamp.
so what do you think um, for my specific astrology? How do you feel that that's playing into things right now?
You're right on track. You're clearing all this out because by tomorrow, the new moon, it's to see something different that you didn't see, or perceive something you're different. Because there's going to be a narrative shift on Saturday and Sunday for you. Like everybody has it. Certain people have more of it than others, but your narrative shift's going to be a big one, because you thought you're going here, and it's most likely here. And and I've listened to your questions. I've seen where you're going and what you're trying to figure out. And you are searching all the different angles, trying to assess all the information to make a decision. The decision is really not going to be up here. It's right here. And that's where the biggest shift is for you. It's to stop trying to decide up here and follow this. What does my heart believe?
Yeah, that's deeply resonant.
Yep. So
And I know,
all you have to do, wait it out.
yeah,
Thank it for being there. It makes it go easier. Thank you, body. Thank you for going through all this detox. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right?
yeah.
Trust me. I I did this for like almost 5 years straight. It was like intense.
I just ordered like a bunch of binders and ionic like iodine, and so I just feel like there's so many toxins circulating in my body freely right now, and I want to bind them up to excrete them.
Yeah. They require the most important thing is this. You know, the minerals, you're already taking minerals and stuff like that, so that's good. So when you do the maneuvers, what it does is that all those toxins, they get caught up within the layers of fascia, within all the tissue. It's not this binary thing. It doesn't go in your GI tract and stay there. It's all throughout the tissue. So you're doing the right thing. Just keep doing it. You're going to have a big shift. I mean, by the end of the weekend, you're going to be a different person.
Do you think I should actually, I was on Jason's live when I was on the toilet, and I started doing some maneuvers on the toilet, but then I was feeling like I could feel cellularly, like in real time, that I was releasing more toxins into my bloodstream and lymph, and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if I want more toxins in there right now.
Okay.
What
Trust your
do you
body.
think?
Trust your body. It's trust your heart. You're thinking it. That's what we said earlier. You're gonna stop doing this and start doing this.
Yeah.
Your brain's not in charge. Your brain is literally not in charge of the body in any way, shape, or form. The intelligence is in our field. The fascia brings it in. Our heart is the primary driver of the intelligence. The brain is a little appendage that sits off of the small intestine and the heart. So it's like a floppy appendage. So don't buy into it too much.
I hear you, and I have the same perspective, and I share that wisdom with other people. It's just never
Being a
been so.
physicist, that's got to be weird to share that.
Well, yeah, but I've just never had such a sharp experience of the truth of that myself until right now.
Yeah. You're right on track. Look at, based on my interactions with you and what I know, you're right on track. So just keep on going. Yeah, but go through it willingly. It's if you go through it kicking and screaming and angry and frustrated and trying to fix it or solve it, it's like, okay, I surrender. I surrender. Body, thank you very much. Thank you for bringing it. Bring more. Bring it all. I'm ready. And that's the only thing if I could tell from the only thing I could tell somebody to do differently than I did is I kept trying to fix it. And I did. I sedated things and fixed it and used plant medicines and ketamines and everything. And now it's like, I should have just went through it. I made my 1.5 years into 5 years by like controlling it with my thinking mind. So
Yeah. Yeah, there was a moment, well, actually an extended moment of probably 2 hours this morning from like 4 to 6 on the toilet where I was able to surrender into the extreme pain and discomfort and actually find like a little bit of pleasure in it, but at least have like a transmutation of it into a neutral experience and appreciate it.
When I can accept and find joy in my toughest moment, that's when the lesson changes.
Yeah.
I mean, every lesson changes at that point. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, the human fluid adaptive biological computing system changes, but not until then. We think we change out of inspiration, but inspiration is created by either desperation that's been physical or perceived. I either perceive I don't want that so bad, but we humans do not change until the pain of being the same is greater than the pain of the change.
Indeed.
You got this, buddy.
All right. I'm confident I'll feel better by your SoCal visit, and I'm talking to Andrew tomorrow, so I'll keep you posted.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care. Okay, everybody, that was an awesome day. What an interesting conversation today. What an interesting, holy smokes, man. Some of these conversations, it's like, and you know what's funny is watch these lives, watch the people that we're talking to, and just wait like 2 years, 3 years. They will be the ones that are talking to hundreds of thousands or millions of people. I can guarantee you. What we're doing here is we're opening up consciousness by having conversations that other people aren't willing to have in ways that they're not willing to have it. We're doing it with our heart. So thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow's going to be a very interesting. We're going to talk to Yolanda, who does free birthing, and she's had, I think, 5 children. 10. Oh, 10 children. 10 children without the aid of medicine. I'm really curious. I want to talk to her. And we got else? Christian Pedretti. Oh yeah, and Dr. Christian Pedretti, who is a doctor of acupuncture who I've been working with for many years, lifestyle artist, been to our retreats, has a center outside in Philadelphia, PA. Okay, guys, talk to you tomorrow.